Welcome, blue earthy furries, to Geek Salad's retro movie reviews from the Geek Salad podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Todd.
And tonight we have a very special guest. Miss Jonna has joined us yet again for a discussion of the Disney park. And hopefully we're going to also be joined in a little bit by Juli. You know her from our other Disney World conversations that we had. She's also the host of One Little Spice and the F Yeah Disney podcasts. So she is a true Disney aficionado. She actually now lives in Florida with her husband. And I guess they're getting like a massive rainstorm and hail right now. So when she joins us, she will join us.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
And I feel fine.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Mike. I'm glad you feel fine.
Okay. So tonight we're concluding our discussion of the Walt Disney World theme park rides by talking about the last gate to open at Walt Disney World in 1998.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Walt Disney's Animal Kingdom. We've kind of mentioned this on the show before that Animal Kingdom used to kind of just be the quintessential half-day park. You go in the morning, you do a few things, you run out of things to do, go park hop or go eat an early dinner.
It didn't help the fact that they had to close at 5 p.m. because of all the animals.
Yeah. So it was definitely the kind of park that I don't think got a lot of credence until 2017 when Pandora, the Worlds of Avatar, opened up. And we'll be discussing that in just a couple of minutes. In fact, actually, Todd, why don't you start us off?
All right.
Because it is pertinent to Pandora.
Yeah.
The Worlds of Avatar.
I agree with you. Animal Kingdom was always a half-day park in two ways, because the attractions just weren't there. There's good shows, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. But the attractions weren't there. There's the safari. There's, if you like the river rapid ride, that's great. Expedition Everest didn't open until 2005. So it was a half-day park for me the entire time because of the attractions, but then also because it's like walking into a greenhouse. And you'd think it would be nice and cool because there's lots of shade, there's lots of tree cover, stuff like that. It is too hot. November, it's brutal. So the last time I went in 2017 was the first time I got to ride anything in Pandora. I'm not an Avatar fan at all. Don't care for the movie. Don't care that they're making 8 sequels. Not my thing. But Flights of Passage was amazing. Like, one of the coolest rides I've ever been on in my entire life. Nice. The Navi River ride was also very cool, but when we walked out of that, we did rope drop for that, and then on the way out of Pandora, after we did that, it was a 3-hour wait already just for that one ride. So that being said, Flights of Passage was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was like Soarin' on steroids. Unbelievable. They have the ride vehicle out in front so you can kind of test it out. It's like a big motorcycle that breathes. It's awesome. And you walk in and, unfortunately, I was with Lily at the time. She was 5 and she was old enough to ride it, tall enough to ride it, but freaked out right in the ride room. So she left with my mom. We all got fast passes. So I rode it again. I rode it twice, which was great. But the whole room tilts. It's crazy. The technology is insane. Again, don't care for the story, but the technology is awesome.
Yeah. Those are my sentiments exactly. That it's Soarin' on steroids. It's insane how interactive the ride is and how cool the ride mechanics are of it. I just wish it was for a better movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But
the land itself is stunning, beautiful. But again, I'm like, I understand the message of it and I understand why it's there, the conservationist kind of mentality, which is great, but it doesn't do anything for me personally. But the ride is amazing.
Yeah. I love the fact too that just like with Soarin', they do implement the wind and the smells and like the sea breeze and all that while you're riding it. And it's just really funny to think that there's like 8 8 of those ride vehicles, just like one next to each other in a room?
I think it's 12.
12? Okay. But it's not a lot. Hey, look who joined us.
I made
Hey,
it.
Julie.
Yay!
Hey, Julie, how you doing?
I can hear myself in my headphones, and I don't know how to fix that.
Uh-oh.
Huh?
Well,
So that means you're talking to yourself.
yeah.
I am.
You could tinker with that while we discuss Flights of Passage.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was really funny to me because Todd, when I was riding it last year, I was riding next to my son, and I had to just keep telling him, Jamie, it's a ride, because he just felt like it was so real. Because it is, you're right. You mentioned a breathing motorcycle, and just feeling that the chest expand, and just it is really an insane ride. And it's a great thrill ride, even if you don't like thrill rides, because it's all virtual.
It's a great thrill ride if you don't like thrill rides or.
So anybody else have any thoughts on Flights of Passage? I know Mike and Jonna, you guys haven't ridden it yet, have you?
Nope.
No, they hadn't opened Pandora when we were last there. I have to say, though, if it's Soarin' on steroids, it loses points for not having Patrick Warburton. Nice job, pal.
It has
Welcome to Pandora.
Yeah.
This is your avatar.
It has Sigourney Weaver in there at some point.
I hate that my avatar never looks like me. For starters, okay, and it's not even like that it doesn't look like me, because okay, but I mean, we all can't be like Zoe Saldana and oh my god, I can't think of his name,
Nobody can.
and have our avatar look
That's
exactly
the whole point
like
of
us. But I always get the ugly one. It flashes through all the really cute avatars, and then I just get the scraggly looking one.
Yeah, I probably end up getting Droppo or something like that as my Navi.
I was excited though because Star Tours makes me super nauseous, and Soarin' sometimes has its moments, and so I was really, really stressed out that it was going to be awful. And I have been on it several times where I've felt a little bit queasy, but the first time I went on it, I wasn't, and it was just so beautiful and so breathtaking. And I definitely teared up. I definitely cried. I'm an old softy, but it was so good. And if you don't mind being taken out of it a little bit, look around, and you actually see the mechanics of it while you're on the ride. That is super cool too.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
yeah. We fast passed because there really is no way I would have waited the 4 hours. I think that was the minimum wait that day.
Yeah, Jason does it with a beer in hand. They grab beers and then they wait in line. So
Smart.
guess it makes the 4 hours go by faster. I don't think I could make an entire beer last for 4 hours, but
I couldn't do that either. No.
In the
They just
Florida
have,
fun, it'd be really a warm beer at the end.
it would be warm beer in 5 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hot. That park is too hot.
And it's 10 degrees hotter than all the other parks. So on a hot day in Florida, it's just hotter.
Thank you. Our Florida resident is telling us that. Thank you for.
It's nice in the winter though, because you walk through the parking lot and you curse yourself, why the heck did I come to the Animal Kingdom tonight? And then you get into the park and you're like, huh, this isn't that bad. Also in Epcot, I've noticed that too. It'll be a really, really windy day, and I will have worn a dress or something and not brought a sweater or anything. And I'm cursing myself and thinking I should, walk back to my car because I'm freezing. And the second I walk inside the park, I mean, I'm sure, there's all the buildings and everything. So, but once you hit World Showcase and you make it all the way around and you get to Morocco, then it's freezing again.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Microclimates.
You learn a lot when you go to the parks almost every day. You pick up on these things.
Yeah, now just in terms of the worlds of Pandora in and of themselves, because the ride does just farts you back into the gift shop, and it's insane because first of all, my kids have not seen Avatar, nor do they really give a flying leap about Avatar, but you know, they ask questions about what's this, and the cast members there kind of treat you like an idiot for not knowing the entire storied history and rich natural wonder that is Pandora.
And all like the behind the scenes and the extra levels that go beyond the movie that they've all invested in, and you don't know the Na'vi language. Come on, Andy.
Weren't you personally touched by this movie? No, he's of course he wasn't personally touched by this movie.
I was personally touched by Fern Gully.
Personally touched by this
Oh,
movie.
Fern Gully.
Fern Gully.
I want a
can see
Fern
I'm gonna
Gully
have to
land. Oh
cram
my gosh.
before I go on this ride.
The ride, no, and that's the thing, John, is that the ride itself is excellent. It is top tier Disney Imagineering, but I wish it was a better movie.
I gotta say, so Flight of Passage? Sorry, I couldn't even remember the Flight of the Avatar. What's this one called? Basically, I loved that. Like from the start, it was amazing. The first time Amy and I went on the Na'vi River ride was during the day. One, I thought it was too short. And two, walking out from the beautiful night ride into the daytime really messes with you. It was awful. And I was like, I don't like it. It's a terrible ride. No. But then we ended up, we made a nighttime reservation for it. So it was actually the first time I'd ever walked through Pandora at night. It was after we ate at Tiffin's, so I was already in a really good mood because Tiffin's is amazing. And, you know, walking through Pandora is magical. And then if you're wearing white, you glow, so you're like, oh my gosh. But yeah, riding it at night, when you walk onto it at night and then off of it at night, feels a little bit more seamless, and I enjoyed it a lot better at night.
Cool. Useful information.
Yes. Just important tip for next time.
If there is a next time.
If there is a next time.
I don't want to talk about it because all of my honeymoon dining plans just got canceled, and I'm a little bitter about it. So let's just not go there.
Move on.
We're in November.
Yeah, we made like the Wild Africa Trek reservations, Keys to the Kingdom reservations, Marceline to Main Street. So
Done it.
I know, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. So I assume we'll be able to like rebook these things as it gets closer, or once they decide what the capacity is going to be for all of them. But last night I just like stayed in bed and cried for I think like 40 minutes straight.
No, I'm sorry.
But it's okay.
All right. Well, you know what, Juli? Why don't you talk about something that brings you joy?
Do you know what brings me joy? Dinosaur.
I'll admit, I have not yet still not ridden this ride.
What?
What brings me joy?
It was we were going.
That brings me joy.
All the animals in Animal Kingdom carry lightsabers. Didn't you know that?
We get to a tipping point when we were at Animal Kingdom where the kids were just hot, tired. We were all just like worn down, and we just needed to leave. And it's like, okay, we can wait for an hour for Dinosaur, or we can go back to the pool at the Polynesian.
Yeah,
all right, the pool it is.
That's true. I know that Mike and I rode it when we were in Disney in 2015. 15, 13, 15?
No. 13, I think.
No, was it?
I don't know. Somewhere around there.
No, it was definitely 2013. Yep.
Oh.
Because 2015 was when I went back with Amy and saw Hanson again.
Oh, did you see Hanson?
I did.
You never mentioned them.
And I met them. Okay, so running inside joke with Mike's whole family. We were in Animal Kingdom and it poured. That was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, actually, when we went to Hollywood Studios, it was pouring as well.
Probably. It rained a lot that trip. But yeah, I just distinctly remember Animal Kingdom. We went on Dinosaur and it wasn't raining. And then we came off and then it just like the skies opened up and it was like a storm that's happening outside my house right now. And surprisingly enough, there isn't a lot of places to take cover in Animal Kingdom, even though it's like all trees. But back to Dinosaur. So one, it's my favorite because when you're standing in the queue, one, there's a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex standing there, but you also get to hear Bill Nye narrate how the dinosaurs became extinct. And who doesn't want to listen to Bill Nye talk for, however long you're waiting for anything? He's great.
Especially since Ellen's Adventure is gone.
It is. It makes me sad. Actually, the only time I ever went on that was on our vacation.
Oh.
And it was right after I found out that Hanson was playing Meet the Peak Hunters. Everything on that trip is based around the news of Hanson.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, so you do that, and then you walk in, and you get the whole story, and you think you're going to see Bill Nye, but it's some random dude. And, you try and save a dinosaur. And I guess, I don't know, because I think, have you been on the Indiana Jones ride, Mike?
Of course I have.
Okay. So I feel like Dinosaur is like they're the same kind of like ride vehicles.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of like track in a sense, but it's not open like Indiana Jones is.
Right,
So
yeah.
anybody out there who's been on Indiana Jones and hasn't been on Dinosaur, similar.
Yeah.
But when you're in the queue for Dinosaur, after you have been told that, you're going to free the iguanodon or whatever, or take him back with you. There are white, yellow, and red pipes that run through the whole queue. And that is because McDonald's used to sponsor the ride.
Not Restaurantosaurus,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Funny thing, when you walk through that room and you're actually in the queue and you see the ride vehicles, it's all grates.
Yeah.
So Amy is terrified of walking over grates. So yeah, it's entertaining. So when we're on that, I have to be constantly distracting her and being like, look at me, don't look down.
I see her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. But yeah, no, the ride is so awesome. And every time I go on the ride, I'm still terrified. I know what's coming, and you kind of know when it's coming, but yeah, always still terrifies me, and it's amazing. It's so fun. It's so good.
It is a good ride, Andy. You should check it out sometime.
Yeah, it's at this point become a bucket list ride.
It's relatively out of the way too, which is the first time I looked for it, I was like, where is it?
Yeah,
Dino Land itself is a major bummer for me. The whole carnival atmosphere. I'm like, this is terrible.
And I mean, that's the whole point. The story is these dinosaurs started a carnival.
Yeah.
But
tear it down, turn it into Zootopia. I dare you.
Yeah.
I know that they closed Primeval Whirl for refurbishment, and I don't think they're opening it back up.
Okay, because I have never once. I mean, I've been to Animal Kingdom twice. I've never seen that ride in operation.
I've ridden it, but
I have seen it in operation, but I don't like spinny things so much.
Yeah.
I did go on the teacups. One day I tried to ride all the rides at Magic Kingdom because it was pouring and no one was there. And then, the skies were like, let's be sunny around 1 o'clock. So I didn't get through all the rides. But I rode the carousel and wanted to puke. And then was like, well, I'm already there. I might as well ride the teacups right after. Just get those two out of the way. But I survived the teacups.
Yay.
Awesome.
John is
Anybody else have any thoughts on Dinosaur?
You do not need to see the movie to
Dinosaur?
enjoy the ride.
I was going to say, it's amazing to me that a top shelf ride like Dinosaur is based on a craptastic Disney animated film, Dinosaur.
Yeah, that quickly went out the window because they realized nobody's seen this movie. But yeah, no, if you've been on the Indiana Jones ride out in California, very much this what this ride is going to entail. The cars just jerk around. But yeah, it is very, very fun. I do enjoy it.
So between this, sorry, I have I actually have. Jonna, have you been on Dinosaur?
I have.
Okay, Todd, have you been on the one in Disneyland?
I have not.
Indiana Jones. Okay, so Mike and Jonna, my question to you: Indiana Jones or dinosaur?
No, Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Got to give the nod to that.
Even I'd say
Duh.
Okay, all right, people.
Hey,
Dinosaur is amazing, but
yes,
no,
but
I
it
do have
doesn't
to
have the
agree.
John Williams score.
That is true. No,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have this. The queue isn't as thrilling
No.
as
Or-
it is for Indiana Jones.
Nor is it as long. That
I was
is
gonna say
Indiana
even
Jones
just,
has a huge, long queue.
yeah. And Jonna and I went on it, and I think we had like a 15-minute wait, but I felt like that entire 15-minute wait was just walking through the queue because there was no line for us to wait in.
The joys of Fast Pass. You still have to go just as far in.
Exactly.
Nice. All right. You know what? I'll go next because I think you, Mike, you and Jonna actually have like the two like signature rides at Animal Kingdom this time around. And I'm going with the Kali River Rapids, which is such a Six Flags ride in a Disney theme park. It really, but it's like the best River Rapids ride I've ever been on because they actually, first of all, they actually give you plenty of head and neck support on the backings of the seats. I mean, I've been on many a River Rapid thing where it's just like your neck just keeps snapping back because there's nothing there to hold it still. It's a lot of fun too because it goes through its nice little subtle movements and then just throws you around like a rag doll. And it's one of those rides too that the line is almost never super long. So even if you fast pass it, which we did, we had fast passed it, and my daughter loved it so much, it was like we just got right back in line.
Well, it's like Typhoon Lagoon. There is the Floridian crowd that if it's 80 degrees, it's too cold. So similarly with the Cali Rapids, anybody who's not from, somewhere freezing up north is like, ooh, 85 degrees, it's too cold to ride a water ride. So
yeah, I like the first time we rode it, I got like a little bit of water like splashed in the back of my head, and the guy who's kind of sitting across from me is like, "Ha, you got wet," and then as if, yeah, exactly, as if the water from Moana was on my side that day. Just the dude just got blasted in the face.
It's amazing.
Yeah, after.
It's very similar to the Grizzly River run out in Disney California Adventure.
We didn't get to go on that one when I was out there.
Yeah, I haven't ridden the Cali one, but yeah, I get the feeling very similar, and yeah, it's always a hit or miss whether you're going to be mildly wet because you guaranteed will get wet,
Yeah.
but whether you will be mildly wet or whether you will be soaked to the skin.
Yeah.
But in Florida, is that really so bad?
It burns off really fast. So usually, I mean, you do the guarantee you get wet because those seats are always wet.
Yeah.
So like, okay, wet butt. And then the second you get up, you walk in the sun, and all of a sudden, just
you have a cloud around you for about 5 minutes, and then you're dry.
And then everybody who wears glasses just like they all steam up at the same time.
Yeah.
So anybody else have any thoughts on Kali?
I have never gotten wet on that ride. I rode it so the first time I went to Disney in 2007, we were there on a really hot day, and I remember we were planning to go to a water park after or something. I don't know what it was, but we were planning to go to the water park, so we went to Animal Kingdom to go on the Cali River so that, we were already wet, and then we're going to go to the water park. And we rode it 5 times because there was no line, and I did not get wet a single time. Back in 2007, though, you could put your backpack in the center of it. Like there was actually for them.
She's a witch. That's the only explanation.
Yeah.
And I would always be so jealous of the people going down and you just watch the water like completely wash over them. And I was like, why can't that be me? And then even going back with Jason and the kids, his son got soaked and Jason got wet and I got like 4 droplets.
Well, Well, you got plenty wet on Splash Mountain at Disneyland, so that ought to
I did, yes. And I also got insanely wet one time on Splash Mountain at Magic Kingdom.
I
See,
told
I'm
my story about what happened with Autumn.
never want to get wet on a water ride. I don't do them. We talked about Splash Mountain. I don't care for water rides. I don't care for Florida water. Sorry.
Okay, first off, Florida water is insanely hard, so I totally understand. It is a nightmare showering in it every day. My skin is like insanely dry. My hair is awful. Anyway, have you been on Splash Mountain though? Even though
I've done Cali River. I've done Splash Mountain. I've never been to a water park at Disney, but it's not my thing. You know, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, there it is. Have fun.
I do like watching people go on it and seeing how like drenched they get. That's fun.
I always enjoy it too when it's near 100 degrees and somebody's going to wear that parka. Like, not just like the disposable trash bag, but
like the thick ones that actually stay together.
Yeah.
Brutal.
So,
why are you even riding the ride?
Yeah, those don't protect you when you're the one that gets showered in the water like that, because you're basically you're basically underwater for like a good 30 seconds. Yeah, you're getting soaked even with that poncho.
It just goes straight down the neck hole, and
yeah.
It's actually keeping the water in.
It means you
let it expand around you.
Yeah, it means you don't get dry as quickly.
Yeah, it's true. So, well,
and then
Todd,
you're putting a wet poncho back in your backpack.
What was that, Andy?
I was saying you're a very good sport for at least, going on those rides to the benefit of others.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm always down for a good adventure ride. I just hate being soaked, and even though you do dry off pretty quickly, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
Could it be? It probably stems from that time I did get stuck on Splash Mountain at the exit. The offloading, portion for like 20 minutes. So I was inside the ride soaked for 20 minutes with all the music playing, and that was brutal. So
the trip that I went with Mike, anytime Keith went on a ride, it would break down. So we got stuck for 20 minutes on It's a Small World. We got stuck for 20 minutes on Pirates. And the spot where we got stuck on for 20 minutes of Splash Mountain was as you've gone down the final drop and you're like stuck at that last little like tiny drop off, and there's the water that splashes down from everyone else that's going down, and it's just this like tiny little trickle, and then at the bottom it just like slingshots water this way, the way it hits a rock. Yeah, that's exactly where I was sitting for 20 minutes. It was okay. It was a hot day, but I was like, yeah, of course, this would be how it happens.
Yeah, I try not to ride with Keith too much.
You were on It's a Small World with us, though, weren't you?
Yeah, I think so. I was.
Oh, Lord.
I'd take being wet and then being stuck on It's a Small World. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're right about that, Jonna.
But
all right, Jonna, what is your pick, Jonna, for your favorite ride at Animal Kingdom?
My favorite is that you must be 1 Yeti foot tall to ride, because you're going on an expedition to Everest. And as I have said before, I am a coaster junkie, and I would ride that one all day long.
It's so good. It's so
love
good.
that one.
I think your record was 5 times in one day.
Wow.
I believe you went on it 5 times in one day before.
I used his fast passes because he wasn't going on it.
That's awesome.
I was going to say, because like I understand you guys wouldn't have kids in tow, but wow, that's insane. 5 times for that because that ride's got an insane line.
Single rider is really short on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she used her own fast pass, she used my fast pass, and then she did single rider.
And I happened to be going to around sunset, which was when everybody happened to be, I think, going to dinner. So it was amazingly quiet. I just get right off, get right back on it again. It was wonderful. I love that.
That must have been a great view at sunset.
It's spectacular at sunset. There's a certain point, it's not where you would think. It's not where you've reached the highest point and the tracks are ripped up. Thank you, Mr. Yeti. But there is another point where you're coming around and you get the most phenomenal view. You can see the castle. You can see the hot air balloon at Disney Springs. You can see Spaceship Earth. And and they would not be as noticeable during the day as they are at night when the lights are coming up. It's just a phenomenal view. And I wish I could capture that because it really is spectacular.
But I was holding a purse with her camera.
But you gotta love a coaster. It starts out, the queue, let me say, has an amazing amount of artifacts that they brought over from like Nepal and Tibet and what have you. And so that's actually interesting when you're winding your way through. And I'm not sure it would be interesting for 2-3 hours as you wait, but it is something interesting to look at. And then you board what looks like the most rickety, broken down, sad excuse for a mining train. And then you're off and running. And you wind around. It's the very first part is kind of reminiscent almost of the certain parts of the Seven Dwarfs mine ride. It's just doing a lot of switchbacks in and around through the landscape. And then you start climbing the mountain. And you, like I said, there's one point, your highest point, where you come to a screeching halt. And that's because your track is ripped right up. And
there are also 1,000 elastic headbands and rubber bands if you want to take a look. People were trying to shoot them up to get them like to stick on the tracks. It was like a fun game. And then they all fell around and everyone was like, oh, I want to throw my scrunchie up there too.
Lost the track or what? Then it shoots you back and you're shot straight backward and into the dark. So if you have a fear of the dark, this is not your ride, but it's great. I do have one qualm, unfortunately, the Yeti effect, while good, they now have it kind of strobe lighting. They used to actually have an audio animatronic Yeti that would reach down and take a swipe at you. He has broken and he is not yet fixed. I gather that is because they would practically have to dismantle part of the mountain itself to get at it. So,
it broke and they never fixed it.
Yeah, I guess
we have hopes, and it's still a spectacular ride.
Yeah, I guess there's like the infrastructure of the mountain itself is not feasible to handle the animatronic of the Yeti for long periods. So they figure it's just way too expensive to reinforce the entire mountain in order just to get this animatronic working. So they just leave it steady and use strobe lights.
Yeah.
Well, what they should have done that on March 17th. It'd be done by now, right?
I mean, except for the fact that, social distancing and they stopped all construction on Disney. And
That's true.
Sorry.
That's okay. Anybody else's thoughts on Everest? Because my son loved it. My daughter is not the biggest thrill ride fan, but she enjoyed it. And Autumn and I it was a lot of fun because we had never been on it before. So with our first experience, it's so exhilarating, and it's nice because it is the only thrill ride at Animal Kingdom.
And even knowing that, hey, dinosaur is a thrill ride, Andy.
Okay, sorry. I'm over that, Juli.
So even though you're going backwards, like it's happening every single time. I know I'm going backwards. I know I hit the broken track. I know that I'm going backwards, and I know it's just a free fall. I really want to see what that track looks like because it's like a down and then around and like an up and like I don't know what the track is doing because it's pitch black, but whoo, every time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I
It's
do
the
a single rider every time. I do it at least 3 times on my half day at Animal Kingdom. So that's how much I like this ride.
For me, it's the pinnacle of the Walt Disney World mountain ranges.
It's one of the great mountain roller coasters. So
Jason and I rode on it the night that he proposed to me, actually, and we did single rider, and so we got split up, and I ended up in the front, and he ended up in the back, and I was sitting with this group of like 3 people. It was like 2 people, and then like whoever the kid was sitting next to me, but they were super friendly, and like we like instantly became best friends. Of course, I just make friends with everybody, but like they had like some crazy energy, and like I had crazy energy because they were throwing that vibe out. So I was like pumped to go on this ride that time. So we get through it and we get up to the top and we get to the spot where it stops and it's about to go backwards. And the kid sitting next to me goes, "Samantha?" It was amazing.
nice.
I don't even know a Samantha.
Oh, it was so good. Whoa.
All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on Everest before we close this out? No.
I would do it another 5 times in a heartbeat.
And Mike will be happy to hold you first all 5 of those times.
I did
All
see
right,
this
Mike.
ride, sorry, I did see this ride in construction, which was really cool.
Oh, that's
You know,
awesome.
that place across the lake
Yeah.
where the statue lines up with the mountain range.
Yep.
So that wasn't there at that point, but the lake was, and then I could see the mountain in construction. That was in 2005. So that was really cool. And then I didn't ride it until 2011. So I was like, oh yeah, that big ride that looks awesome that I really wanted to go on wasn't complete. So it was good. Anyway, continue.
All right, Mike, take us home.
All right, I'm going to talk about the most signature ride of the signature rides of Animal Kingdom, Kilimanjaro Safari. I mean, it is legit. You ride this very bouncy vehicle. The shocks are not great on it because you feel every bump you go over. But yeah, I mean, there are animals that will walk right up to you. We had to stop for a while because a giraffe was crossing in front of the vehicle. But you go through different sections. You got like the Africa plains. You got the rainforest, not rainforest, but just forested areas. You've got lions, tigers, bears. Oh my, no, wait, no, sorry, no bears.
Oh
no
my God,
tiger.
you imagine a bear just being in like that lion's area. That
That was
bastard's
weird.
awake. The lions aren't, but the bear is.
Yep. And the funny thing is, like, whenever you drive by the lion thing, they have like gaps hidden in there, so that they can't just walk up to you. But I'm fairly certain, doesn't matter how big that gap is, that lion, if he wanted to get you, he could jump.
Yeah.
He could jump just fine.
I'm not as worried about the lion as I was about the hyena because, as they said, if you fall out of the Jeep by the hyenas, they're not coming back for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's true, but
Honestly, the Jeep moves slow enough. You could probably, with a decent strided run, be able to get back on, no problem.
I do remember, Juli, when we went on Kilimanjaro there, it was pouring out. And they were actually saying that the rain, if the rain comes down hard enough, it actually hurts the elephant's skin. Because, so that's why when it starts raining, they actually go into the water to help dissipate.
But yeah, we actually saw one that was like playing in a puddle, and so I have some really cool pictures of it playing in a puddle, and it's just super, super awesome.
It's like if the Jungle Cruise came to life and all of a sudden all the animals were real.
Yeah.
I believe that's actually why they made it, is because the original plan for Jungle Cruise, when Walt envisioned it, was actual animals there.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty quickly on, they were like, I don't think that'll actually work, Walt. So, they were just, when they made Animal Kingdom, they're like, well, we got to do something for that because Walt really wanted live animals. So they made a Kilimanjaro safari so they could actually have live animals there.
Mhm.
I think I would love that one.
And if you can walk through the, I don't know what it's called, but like after the safari, there's like a little walkthrough where you can see all the other animals that aren't on the safari. And they opened back up Rafiki's Planet Watch, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So that's actually super cool because you take the train ride and it actually goes past all the areas like the veterinary area and, you know, where they wash them. And if you're lucky enough, you get to see them washing an elephant and like, that's super cool too. And then Rafiki's Planet Watch, there isn't much going on there, but you get to do the animation now, and that's the only place on property that you can do animation now. So, but I'm excited that animation exists, and I actually drew. Oh my gosh, what's the bad guy from the Jungle Book?
Shere Khan.
Thank you. I got to draw Shere Khan, which is awesome, and then I had to like try and protect the piece of paper for the rest of the day.
No Kali River Rapids for you.
Jonna, didn't we go? We went to Rafiki's Planet Watch, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, and it was actually, I believe it was shortly before, or was it shortly after Zootopia came out? Because I know they had a big section for Zootopia and like animation there.
But yeah, I mean, it just the thing about this safari is this is an animal park. That's right in its name. And you get to be probably as close up as most of us will ever get to very exotic animals. And they're just doing their animal thing. I will say that Disney has a few little tricks up their sleeve. Like they have certain rocks that are climate controlled so that the lions will be out and about as opposed to going and hiding from the elements at a given time, but to give better show. But for the most part, it's just animals being animals and doing what animals do.
And I mean,
they're impressive.
Yeah. And what was it? Maybe right before the parks closed, beginning of February, I think it was. People were on the safari while a giraffe gave birth. Yeah, like 20 feet from them. It's just like you get to experience a lot on that, and it's awesome.
Actually, it reminds me of when Jonna and I when we went there, and during one of the animal treks, we actually saw a mother gorilla with a little baby gorilla riding around on her back.
That's adorable.
It was adorable. It was so cute.
And periodically, you see the mama gorillas who are just they're like every other Disney mom. Your kid has gotten on your last nerve, and you're dragging them along.
I have I've done this ride 6 times. So clearly I like it. It's good for kids of all ages. I will say, because I am a 10-year-old boy at heart, I really did enjoy the prior iteration of the ride where they have the poacher.
The poacher storyline.
And they kind of made it a little more thrilling. But and I've actually been on an actual safari in West Africa, and Kilimanjaro Safaris is better. It's true. I mean,
you actually get to see the animals,
right?
Like there for you.
It's manufactured, it's controlled, so it's a better show.
Okay, but in comparison to actually being on an African safari, besides the animals, like, did you actually feel like it was comparable?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I do miss that kind of thrill element where you're going over the rickety bridge and they speed up and they, all that kind of stuff. Oh, we got to go catch the poacher. And
when the bridge used to actually shake.
Yeah, I like that. But again, I've been on it 6 times, so I can't complain. It's a fast pass for us every time. My daughter loved it when she was 5. So yeah, it was good.
That's always the first thing we do in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that the Sunset Safari is also really awesome. I haven't had a chance to. Maybe I did. I don't remember. But I don't think I've had a chance to. I always book one, like for me and Amy, and then we're like, okay, we're leaving Animal Kingdom. Or like I've made reservations for it, and then I'm like stuck in traffic and I don't get to the park in time. But I hear that the evening one is a whole new level of magical.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I don't think I've ever been on it though. I think
Yeah.
closest thing I hit was like when it was just dusk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a matter of timing whether you've got to catch that fine line where the animals are active and haven't actually tucked in for the night.
Right. So yeah, no, it is an insanely fun ride, and it's really, whenever we go back and we look at our old photos, there are just so many safari photos.
Yeah, speaking of safari,
Kitty.
just that.
Ah!
Yeah.
Oh, it's my terrible goose.
She
Come
just
over
came
here.
in the window.
What are you doing? Do you want to join the chat? What's your favorite ride in Animal Kingdom?
Meow.
She likes the wildcats.
What's that?
She likes all the wildcats, of
What do
course.
you think with that?
I sure said.
Cute.
I'm sneezing from here.
So yeah, so that was Animal Kingdom. It is really an interesting part. I'm glad to see that it's kind of finally come into its own.
My favorite
And-
snacks are at Animal Kingdom, honestly.
What's
I'm
that?
I said my favorite snacks are at Animal Kingdom. I like the variety. There's a bunch of stuff, except don't get the morning breakfast wrap with goat cheese in it from whatever bakery is not the Starbucks, because it literally tasted like eating a block of salt. But everything
I
else is
know
really
I'm
good.
an
'cause it's-
outlier. Everybody else's favorite park is Epcot. For mine, it is. For me, Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom are tied because I love all the animals. I love the shows. I love the whole vibe of the music. There's a beat to it, and
They decorated for Christmas this year, which was really awesome, and they had these animals out and about that were super adorable, and they had someone who was moving for them, and it kind of reminded me of Olaf in the Frozen musical, but it was so cute how much life and expression these little animals had, and they looked like they were made out of paper. I'll send you guys a video, but they were so cute, and they have the park open at night now, so you get all the lighting at night, and it was especially beautiful at Christmas. And then so Epcot was my favorite until Jason proposed to me at the Tree of Life, so
There you go.
kind of trumps it. But when you walk by the Up Adventures that used to be the Flight of the Who's-He What's-Its in the back.
Passage, actually.
Thank you. The show with all the birds.
Yeah.
Andy
Flight of
just
Passage,
looks
not Flight of Passage.
Yes, Andy just looks very confused by what I'm trying to explain here.
Yeah, no, and I know. Yeah, the flights of. Oh, good Lord, I don't remember what it was. I remember my daughter loved that show.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so
Enchanted Tiki Room. Let's just call it.
no, live birds do not compare to the animatronics in the Tiki Room. But no, they decorated all that with all these different colored lanterns that were strung up, and then there was this giant mandala on the ground that was lit, and he actually proposed to me on the backside of water, but the tree. And so we go and we walk down, and there's this little dock, and I don't know if there's like a seating area for eating or something, I don't know, but you walk down and there's this dock that's right on the water, and we were looking up at the tree, and I was complaining the whole time because the tree wasn't working on the back, and I just wanted to go see the show on the front, and come on, let's go to the front of the tree. Why are we even here? And I'm holding a beer, and he has his beer, and he puts his beer down, and he's trying to like adjust his phone camera, like prop it up or something. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And then while I'm holding my beer, he turns to me and he goes, do you want a mint? So I, of course, was like, why would I want a mint? I have a beer in my hand, and then I'm not going to finish it, and you're going to drink it, so why are you going to take a mint? And I kind of like turn away from him for a little bit to look at the broken tree. And he gets down on one knee, and he like holds up the tin and goes, do you want to marry me instead? So the engagement ring was in the mint tin, and I was awful, but he ruined my proposal too, so it's just like, It just worked out. But it was beautiful. And I liked that it was just the two of us at the backside of the tree instead of like in front of 1,000 strangers on the other side. But we still got like pictures afterwards on the front of the tree. And the woman was really awesome and took a picture of my engagement ring with the tree as the backdrop. So it was really awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I can see why that would kind of overtake anything at Epcot.
Yeah.
I mean, I did meet Hanson there.
Multiple times.
So
And then-
for a second. Like, it's a photo finish.
Yeah, and then Jason actually saw Hanson with me. We did a Eat to the Beat dinner dining package, whatever they're called. And he saw Hanson with me this last time. So he's like, next year I'm gonna know all the words.
Apparently, Todd and
I was like, that's why I love you.
Yeah. Todd and I were both there about the same time because we both saw Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men. I like that we just sang the same exact Boyz II Men song because obviously.
So they all do.
Is there another one? I'm just kidding.
There are a couple.
I yes.
Yeah.
So
Is there more than one song for Hanson?
Yes. 12 albums.
Words, Mike. I'm fighting words.
So don't make me start playing Hanson right now.
Oh, I won't.
So I think we've got one more Disney show left in us for the summer, and we are going to finish up next week by talking about our favorite shows in the park. So we'll each pick one. You can pick a show, you can pick a fireworks, or you can pick a parade.
Okay, good. Oh gosh.
All right.
Oh.
Now I have to pick between them. Oy.
You have to pick between them.
Well, yeah.
Oh no.
I would have picked Illuminations, but I can't do that one anymore. So
I mean, you still can. It can still be your favorite. Epcot Forever is super cute, though. I cry every time I see Epcot Forever because it plays One Little Spark, and that's how Jason and I met. And
Let's we'll save that for next week.
I know.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. My one question though is, can it be a parade or show from a party as well? Or are we going with like just the regular everyday ones that everybody can?
Yeah, no special event stuff. Just like if anybody was going to Disney World during a normal time, then
no extra
happen upon this thing.
No extra admission required.
Exactly. So, Julie, what do you get to plug this week?
Whew. All right, so One Little Spice is back.
Yay!
After like almost a year hiatus because I was packing and moving to Florida and I do all the editing and everything, and I was like, nope, I can't right now. But we're back and we're like gonna try and do every 2 weeks now. So we have 2 new episodes that just came out. So you can find that anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's if you don't know what One Little Spice is, everybody, it is a Disney food podcast. So every week we pick a different restaurant to talk about the foods, the ins and outs, what we loved, what we hated. We got some Disney news thrown in there, some fan stories, and it's a lot of fun. And you can also follow us at _little_spice at Instagram. I've actually been sharing some Disney like food recipes there lately so that you all can make some Disney magic at home. And then I have a new podcast with my husband, Jason, called F Yeah Disney. This one is an adult podcast. We swear a lot, not kid friendly. But we just talk about all the things Disney. We have a couple segments. We have This Day in Disney, where we talk about what happened on certain days in Disney history that like literally spans across, from when Walt Disney first started making movies to the parks and everything. And then we have the To Infinity and Your Mom, which is what's happening now in the parks. And then a What the Forky Food section, where I talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly for what Disney has chosen to do with some snacks and food items in the park. But it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of laughs, and you can search that F Yeah ! Disney. And that's anywhere you listen to podcasts. And then on Instagram, we're F Yeah _Disney. And I mean, we're on the like Twitterverse and Facebook and everywhere too, but check them out.
F yeah.
Awesome. Julie, last week we actually did make the Sutilli Canteen burger pods.
Yes. How did they come out? You were telling me that.
It actually came out really surprisingly good. I was completely taken unawares as to how sticky bao bun dough is, and there is no amount of flour that will not make it any less sticky. But they turned out really, really good. This was definitely the first time. They turned out great. And now I know what to do to make them even better the next time. But they are quite tasty. And Todd, if you ever come over to visit my wife, I will attempt to make them.
Oh, Andy, I'll come visit you too. It's not just Autumn.
I know.
And now, Andy, my one question is: after watching the short bao, did you get a little ahead of yourself, thinking that making the bao buns would be easier because they made them with such ease?
No, not really.
Yeah, they're not really sticky when they're animated.
No, exactly.
You don't know that, right?
The emotional trauma of just
Pixar.
taking them out.
Pixar is very advanced. They could have made them sticky.
It was funny too, Julie. And then we'll get our closing stuff in. Actually, it was kind of like a Julie twofer when I was making them, because I was thinking, oh, Julie would be so proud of me. I'm making a Disney food. But also, I was listening to the Bingeables. We're doing a series recap of Parks and Rec.
Oh.
And all I can think of are you and Amy singing the Gurgis breakfast song.
Eggs, bacon, and toast. I actually just watched that episode the other day, too.
Missed that show so much.
Did you watch the COVID episode?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. For the record.
Television, I literally, and unfortunately, I've dragged Mike into this, and he hasn't watched a single episode. Mike has been part of our What We Do in the Shadows discussions, even though he hasn't watched a frame of the show.
Yeah, they quote off lines, and I have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
I don't know why you're in that discussion thread, but there you are. Catherine.
Make sure you grab an entire box of tissues for the COVID episode. One, because Parks and Rec is back. Two, because it's a super emotional time for everybody anyway. And honestly, you're gonna get to the very end, and they throw it to Andy, and I literally so every time I've seen Nick Offerman perform, they do that at the end of every one of his stand-ups too, and I cry. But yeah, you're gonna get to the very end, and they're gonna throw it to Andy, and you're just going to cry emotions. Yeah,
it's true. Man tears.
Yep.
Heavy man tears. Don't worry.
Yeah. So an entire box of tissue Andys.
Awesome.
And an appearance by John Ralphio, who's my favorite character on that show. So
my awful.
I love his commercial spot. I forgot about that.
Also, Jonna, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for talking about Expedition Everest. It's just so fun to relive that ride.
And I love your descriptions. I love your descriptions of everything, Jonna. You really paint a good picture of the ride.
And Todd, Mike, and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You can get us wherever you catch your podcast from, but you can get the full archive at geeksalad.podbean.com. Most of our social media work is done on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio, but we're also on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. And you can also check out our merch store at TeePublic. Just use the keyword Geek Salad Podcast, and you can find T-shirts, mugs, even COVID PPE masks.
It's not one of them, but it is a DeSisto original.
Oh, which one did you? Is that the Millennium Falcon?
Oh yeah.
Oh, very nice. Yes. It's all the scrap material that was left over from all the pajama pants my wife has made for me over the years. So anyway, we will talk to you next week. And until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I can't compete with that. I'm Todd. I can't compete with that.
Go forth, be nerdful, and have a magical day.
Bye-bye.